And with us still is Dobek Pater. Dobek, reaction to that. First, let's start with that last question, the competition issue. And I think government is always, competition authorities, always wary of very big companies picking up smaller companies, and you end up with perhaps the big two owning everyone else. So do you see, he obviously puts an argument for it not being a competition issue. Do you think it's going to be a competition issue?
It will certainly change the competitive market landscape. Whether it's going to be a competition issue as far as the Competition Commission, Competition Tribunal, or ICASA hearings are concerned, remains to be seen. I think it will certainly be debated, but I don't think it will be an obstacle to the transaction. However, I think the main point is that it's being debated and obviously emphasized to a great degree is what will happen with the spectrum that Neotel owns, whether it will automatically be transferred to Vodacom, which would be effectively a precedent in South Africa. We haven't ventured that way really before, on this scale, or will it be recycled back to ICASA and redistributed in the market through another process. When we look at competition, we have to look at a couple different aspects of it. One is which market segments do the players play in, and what do they represent as competitors within those markets? Are they dominant? Are they not dominant? What sort of market share do they have? Now with Neotel, we can focus on the fixed line market, for instance, where Vodacom is very small, so the fixed lines or fixed wireless access to an extent as well. Neotel is the second network operator and focusing effectively only on fixed line communications.
Of course, Vodacom and Telkom used to have a tie-up.
Yes, so correct. So the other aspect is what is happening globally and has been happening for a number of years now is convergence of fixed and mobile competitive space, so to speak. So mobile operators moving more strongly into the fixed line environment, realizing this is where a lot of the revenue will lie in the future. Fixed line operators often historically had tried to develop fixed mobile communications portfolios within the companies or within the mother company. Some of them have abandoned that, but are now going back to trying to
But it's ironic because Vodacom and Telkom were hooked up, they unhooked. Yeah. Now, that raises the question of MTN and, of course, Telkom.
Yes.
And then Cell C, which looks as if this could now be out in the cold.
Leaves it in the doldrums.
I mean,
if we look at the South African market, exactly as you said, we have the biggest probably deal of this nature is now between Vodacom and Neotel that's pending. Secondly, between Telkom and MTN to a smaller degree at this point in time, because they're only looking at a certain aspect of cooperation in the mobile environment, effectively mobile broadband, sharing infrastructure. And we've got some smaller deals, such as, for instance, Internet Solutions effectively tying up with MWeb, buying MWeb to move more into this small to medium market segment and also into infrastructure through MWeb's OptiNet. Now, as you pointed out correctly, leaves Cell C out in the cold a bit. They don't have a fixed line partner. They don't have effectively a competitive and competing business element to them, a business apart from the mobile plans that they sell, but no one near what MTN business has, what Vodacom business has, for instance.
And they've never really caught up, have they?
No. And
the big two were too far ahead. Bad management issues early on in Cell C's operation. Yeah. I mean, surely the conclusion, therefore, is that they're a target for takeover as well?
Yes, they are. No, certainly an acquisition target. I'm not sure what the investors are thinking, the Freudian slip thinking at this point in time. They may want to extract themselves possibly out of the South African market because they probably see debt accumulating and not really moving ahead in terms of true competition. And as far as revenue is concerned, yes, they gain subscribers, but once you look at the net worth of that subscriber, I suppose, to the operator over time. And it will be a matter of cost, as is normally the case in these matters. So how much do Cell C shareholders want to realize in terms of selling Cell C, a transaction, versus what is someone who may potentially be prepared to buy it, prepared to pay for that concern.
So a fascinating sector, and the stakes are high. These are big numbers. They're going to be big numbers. That was Dobek Pater. He is Managing Director at Africa Analysis.